Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be another video where I talk about my thoughts on a book I just finished, and that book is The Hike by Drew Magary. There you go, without a glare. I picked this up from the library, I think like 2 weeks ago, and I've been wanting to read this for at least a year, probably more, because I'm very much into hikes and the woods, and so the name alone really drew me in. But I've had a few people recently tell me that this was a really great book and that I should try it and that I would love it, and they were absolutely correct. This book blew my mind. This is going to be a 5-star book for me. It reminds me a lot of Alice in Wonderland or The Wizard of Oz, so if you're okay with stories like that, you might really like this one. But the premise is there's a middle-aged man, he's a family man, has a wife and 3 kids. He is from Maryland and I am from Maryland, so I had a big connection to him in that sense because he did bring it up several times in the book. But he is staying at a hotel in Pennsylvania. I believe it was for a business trip. And he had some time before he had to go to dinner, and he decided to go take a hike around the hotel. And while out on his hike, he notices a man pulling a dead girl out of a shed, and she's missing her feet. This is at the very beginning. It's not a spoiler. The story starts off into action like immediately. There's no real build-up, and I'm absolutely okay with that because it really sucked me in right away. But he sees this man pulling this murdered girl out of a shed, and the man looks up and sees him and starts chasing him. Now immediately I realized that this book is not what I was expecting it to be. I was expecting more of a whimsical type of story because it does mention that this book is funny, and right away you get this gruesome scene of this dead girl. Also, it was quite terrifying the way the chase scene played out. My whole life, ever since I was a little kid, I've had the same recurring dream where I was being chased. And so this chase scene in the book really did freak me out because it was just so similar to my nightmare. So yeah, there was a whole lot of tension in here. This book is full of tension, action, and sarcasm. That's how I would describe this. But anyway, this man, as he's running away, he gets lost. He realized he can't find his way back to the hotel, and he comes across different people, situations, a talking crab along the way, and he gets told he has to do certain things. But basically the story is following this man while he's on this absolutely insane adventure. And I really mean insane, and that's why it reminds me of like Alice in Wonderland or The Wizard of Oz. Because if you were to describe either one of those stories with like a hookah smoking caterpillar or flying monkeys, you would think, okay, well that's crazy, that's insane. And that's exactly the type of insanity in this story. I really, really loved it because it was so fast-paced. I was so interested in the main character. His name is Ben, and I wanted to know what the hell was going on. Why was he on this path? What was gonna happen to him in the end? What answers were we gonna get? I just loved his character and his tenacity, and he was doing everything he could because he wanted to get back home to his family. I loved all the Maryland references in this book, and I do want to say there was one part where he was talking to the crab, which happens to be a blue crab, which is a Maryland type of crab that is in the Chesapeake Bay. I grew up crabbing with my grandpa on the bay. I've worked in crab restaurants, and so when you are from Maryland, crabs are not just food, they are a lifestyle. And so all the references to Maryland and having the crab character were just really nostalgic for me, and I loved that. But anyway, when he first meets the crab, he's telling the crab that he is from Maryland, and he says, so do you know Maryland? And the crab's like, yeah, I know Maryland, I have family there. And it was stuff like that that just made me burst out laughing, because of course this blue crab would have family in Maryland. The crab was such a fantastic, sarcastic creature. I absolutely loved him. There's also a giant in this story that I loved a lot. So yeah, it had amazing characters, amazing story. I was completely hooked. And this isn't a big book at all. It's under 300 pages, so you can read it pretty quickly. anyway, those are all of my thoughts on the hike. I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here, but if you have read the story, let me know down below what you thought of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and go. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.